Hey guys, welcome to the Scholar Online YouTube channel, the channel that is all about learning. In this channel, I make a lot of videos on how to create your own website, how to create your own e-commerce or WooCommerce website and start making money online by selling products online. If you're new to this channel, please remember to hit the subscribe button. You can find it at the bottom of the video and just hit subscribe. Please like this video if you like my content, and remember to leave me a comment below. Talk to me, let me know what you like about the videos, what you don't like about the videos, what I can do to improve on these videos. And if you're new to the channel as well, if you go to the description, there is video timestamps available for you if you want to jump ahead to certain sections of the video. If you don't want to watch the entire video, please feel free to utilize those video timestamps and follow us on our social media channels. We've got a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram page, and let's start learning. We are continuing where we left off last week, building our own e-commerce store from scratch using WooCommerce. And so far, if you've been following along, we already have an up and running store. So what I did offline, if I can just show you quickly, is last week where we left off, we were still incorporating all of the payment methods. So what I did is I corrected the bank account details, and then I added PayFast. PayFast wasn't included in this list, so you have to go to your plugins and then look for the PayFast plugin, and then you'll find it there, and then you install it. Then the only thing you have to include once you've installed it is your merchant sort of information, which you will get when you create a PayFast account. If you don't know how to do that, we have a video on this channel where we are showing you all the steps, details of incorporating payment methods. So I'm not going to cover that in detail today. You can go and have a look at that video. So by now you should be all caught up with your payment methods, up to date. If somebody goes into your store and wants to check out, they should be able to add to cart and completely check out. So our store is already completed. Everything we're going to be doing from now onwards is just to improve on the marketing and all the other web services that you have to do. So if we go back to our schedule, remember we had a schedule when we started this project. We started with the planning phase. We've got a video where we're just doing the planning. And last week, we had a very long video where we were doing the web design. And where I left off last week is we were supposed to do the Webmaster on Wednesday, but I skipped making the video on Wednesday because I thought we have such a long video on Saturday. It should be enough to take you through the whole week. And today we're going to have another sort of long-ish video, but I'm going to try and go through it as quickly as I can. But what we're going to do today is 2 activities for 2 days in one day, but we're going to go through it very, very quickly because it's all simple things, straightforward things which you can do yourself. But I need to show you this list so that you know you have your checklist when you're creating your e-commerce store, you don't miss anything. So we will do set up Google Search Console, very, very important for web services. If you build a website, you need to do this because you need to report to Google that you've got a website and then get your website indexed by Google. That is the fastest way for Google to start recognizing your website and then putting it in their database so that they are able to show it to people when people are searching for it. Your website will be indexed automatically even if you don't submit it through Google, but it will be indexed faster if you submit it. So I always just do it anyway because it's going to speed up the process of being indexed. And then we're going to do some Google Analytics. I'll show you how to do this. When we're starting off, it's not that important because you're not going to be getting a lot of visitors. But when you start paying for advertising, you definitely want to get your Google Analytics up. You don't want to rely on your advertisers telling you how many people they've sent to your website. You want to check it for yourself. There's many more insights you can get from there. And then we're going to do the site kit, and we need to do blogging as well. Actually, maybe let's start with blogging because these ones are easier to do at the end. Let's start with blogging because this is something we added at the end of last week's tutorial. And I think it's important that we cover blogging, and perhaps we'll start with that. So for blogging, people will ask me about why I've got an online store. Why are you telling me about blogging? Why is blogging even included in this tutorial series? I'll tell you. Blogging is one of the most effective and free ways to get a little bit extra traffic to your online store. There's a lot of statistics online, but a lot of them agree that you'll get between 30%, up to 30%, maybe a little bit lower, extra traffic, extra organic traffic if you include blogging in your online store. Why is that? Because let's say you're selling lace wigs, okay? You're gonna find a lot of clients that perhaps are not gonna go always online and search for lace wigs. You might find somebody that has heard this term lace wigs, lace wigs, lace wigs, and then they're not quite sure what is lace wigs and what's included and how much they cost. And then somebody might go online and just type in what is a lace wig, okay? Perhaps that person wasn't looking to buy a wig. They were just sort of looking for information about lace wigs because they heard about it or they saw a friend that's wearing one and they're not quite sure what it entails. So they might Google for that. And then you're gonna find YouTube videos that's explaining what's a lace wig, but you'll be surprised that there's a lot of sort of blogs as well. Like I'm gonna just type on the first one that comes up from the organic search, and this is a blog. I'm sure. Okay, so it's a blog by somebody who's talking about what is a lace wig and explaining to people who don't know what it is. And guess what? They are also selling it. So they're actually they're actually an online store with makeup, skin, hair, wellness, and then they've got blogs and a newsletter. So you're gonna come here and you're gonna read a lot of information about lace wigs and the prices on and all the things you can do with the lace wigs. And a person that was just searching for it, if they get convinced that actually this is something I want to do, they might just click on this and buy from your store. Okay, so you have potential of getting clients that were out looking for information and they come across your blog and they get interested, they learn a lot about the topic, and then they end up sort of buying the thing. And the second reason why you want to blog as well is to create a community around your brand. Okay, it's not sufficient or good to just be reaching clients only when you're selling them something, because people don't like to be taken advantage of. People don't like sort of opportunistic type companies. A lot of the most successful companies are companies that also offer value add to their clients, where they offer good information, so clients, if you have like blogs and you're always having interesting stories, maybe you interview celebrities on a regular basis, asking them about what hairs they're wearing and their hairstyles, people might just start following you because they love your content and the information that you're giving them, okay? And then you start building a community around your brand. And when you build a community around your brand, you start to become a sort of an authoritative matter on the subject. So people start to recognize you as someone who knows a lot about lace wigs because you've got all this information, you have interviews, you talk a lot about wigs, and the day somebody wants to buy a wig, they'll remember, yeah, I know this brand, Lace Wigs Online. These guys, they're always thinking about wigs, they're always interviewing people. So you will remember, your brand remains in people's minds, and the next time they want to buy the lace wig, they'll remember your brand. So this is the main reasons why you want to blog. I've given you 2 good reasons, but there's many, many more. Okay, the first good reason I gave you, if I can remind you, that people will be searching for information, they'll come across your blog and they might just buy from your store. Second one is to build a community around your brand and sort of create an authority about your business, and people will start to recognize you as a person or as a brand that knows a lot about what you're selling. And then people buy from brands they trust. If I want to buy, a car, I'm not going to buy, a car from a brand I've never seen before. I will buy a car from a brand that I see on a regular basis, the brand that is always being advertised, the one that is on top of mind. So you want to remain on top of people's minds, and one of the best ways to do it is through blogging. And then you're probably sitting there thinking, but I'm just an online store, I don't have the time. And a lot of clients that I come across that I tell about blogging, always have that same issue, that they are struggling, they don't have the time to blog. There is a solution for that. And I tell people, there's a lot of companies that will write blogs for you for free, not for free, but at a very reasonable price. And I'm always one to advertise Fiverr, and I'll leave the link in the description below as well. You can get to Fiverr and you can get people to write you content for like 100 Rand, 200 Rand. Typically, if you search long enough, you'll find, and it'll be good, decent people. You can Befriend your cousins that are very, like, I've got a couple of young people that I know, some of my older younger cousins that are in high school, and they have a little bit of extra time, and I just sort of like tell them, hey, can you guys write me, I'll give you a topic, go research it, I want you to write me something on this, I'll pay you like 15 rand, I'll give you like 50 rand per blog. And actually, I've got like a couple of writers that come back to me all the time, and I'm like, yeah, I'll give you 50 rand a blog. And they write me really decent topics, because high school kids are actually very good with sort of English and vocabulary, and they actually write better than I would write, because when we were in high school, we were not taught vocabulary that like the kids today are being taught, and so there's many ways to get around it. The idea is for you to have the will to write blogs and to write it on a consistent basis. And we're not trying to make you into a blogger. So if your main business is really e-commerce, you just want to have maybe 2 new blogs a month. That's not a lot. Okay, so every month, so every week, you can skip 1 week, and then next week you release one. And if you really have more time on your hands, 1 blog a week. Because what I normally do with my social media stuff is every week I'll have my social media run where I do all my posts for the week, and we'll get into that next week. And then maybe I'll write 1 blog. Okay, so that I'm consistent. The key is to consistently produce new content. Okay, the third reason why you really want to blog is that you want to rank on Google for terms that are associated with your niche. Okay, so your main page, for example, when we did the on-page SEO, if you recall, we sort of targeted the keyword. Let me look at the top here. We targeted lace wigs as a keyword. Okay, that is a short keyword and is probably hard to rank for as a keyword. But when you start blogging, you can start targeting other keywords like lace wigs 1-on-1, everything you need to know. Okay, and you write a blog about that, and you get that keyword right, and then you start to rank for that keyword. And then you write another blog, how to put on a lace wig correctly. Okay, and then you rank for that keyword. And then you have another blog, lace wigs in Joburg. What are the best prices? Where to get them properly fitted? Information that is useful, and start to rank for different keywords around your niche topic. What that does is that your website as a whole will rank for like hundreds of keywords, okay, which will increase your whole website authority even higher, and people will start finding you for all sorts of topics related to lace wigs, and then that will push your overall domain even higher as a domain that is really authoritative when it comes to lace wigs. You understand? So the consensus, general consensus, is that you definitely must blog. If you're serious about growing your brand online, there is no excuse why you don't do it, even if you just produce 1 good blog a month. Okay, just have a plan around it and do it. Okay, now I'm going to show you a couple of sort of tips and tricks. Okay, we are not going to write a real blog in here because we're not going to have the time, but I'm going to show you some tips and tricks around writing good blogs. Okay, number 1, okay, never ever copy and paste somebody else's blog on your own blog. So, for example, you might be lazy and come across this and oh, this is a nice blog, I like it. Oh, Lace Frontier, Beginner's Guide to the World of Wigs. And I've seen people making this rookie mistake the first time, and then they'll be like, I'm just gonna copy. And I've done it as well. I've done it. And then they go, and when I was younger, and they would like copy this whole thing and copy, and they'll just paste it like they're trying to save time. They're like, yeah, this is good content. Never ever do that. Never even copy and paste small portions. If you think, oh, and I'm just gonna, do this and copy this part, don't do it. There's 2 reasons why. The first reason is that Google actually does track content online, and it will be able to compare your content, and it will realize that your content has been plagiarized. Okay, so plagiarism is a big no-no. Okay, and what Google will do, they won't tell you. Like at school, when you used to plagiarize tutorials or whatever it is, you would just get into trouble, and sometimes you would fail and you would be penalized. But Google is not going to tell you, oh yeah, no, you know what, we found your blog was plagiarized, so you're in trouble, you bad blogger. No, they won't do anything. They won't tell you. But what that will do is that they will penalize your website as a website that plagiarizes content, because Google knows it has already ranked this content somewhere else, and this was the first one to do it. You're the second one to do it, so you're the one that copied it from them. Okay, and then they will know that you've done it, and then they will penalize you for it, and they will mark you down on the rankings. And even if you have other good content, one plagiarized blog will mark your whole website down. So don't do it. Okay. What you can do is find a good topic. Like if you Google around lace wigs, like I just said, what is lace wig, and see the main topics that come up. What is lace wig, full frontal, and then get a nice blog idea. And then get ideas, like read them and see what they're talking about a lot, and see the ones that appear at the top. This is what people want to read about lace wigs. And then develop your own content, your own words. Write the blog in your own words, the way you would fashion, even if the topic itself was from somewhere else. But if you can, the best thing to do is to try and think about sort of a new exciting trend. Like if something new is coming up, like for example, nowadays these wigs with let me just go down here. These ombre, sort of like with streaks. This is a new thing. Like a new thing in lace wigs. So you can write about sort of a new trend. Like, oh my gosh, where to get these new ombre type wigs, okay? Because that's going to be new content that maybe somebody hasn't written about in the past, because this is a new thing that just came into the market. So every time you can find a new trend to write about, that is the best thing, because if you are going to write about something that has not been written about already, okay, you are going to be good. But you can definitely write about topics that have been written about if you're starting out, just to develop content for your website. But over time, try and move towards writing about new things that nobody has written about. Yes, it's a lot of effort, but you've got to do this if you want your online business to be successful, okay? The last reason why you want to have a blog for your website is I don't have the statistics right now, but I know it because I do this for a living. This is my day job, okay? I think it's like 38% or even close to 50%, all right, of people, when they did a survey online with online shoppers, up to close to 50, okay? It's a huge percentage. It's a very considerable percentage of people admitted that they bought something as a result of a recommendation that they read in a blog. This is why affiliate marketing is so huge. This is why influencer marketing is so huge, because brands have recognized that people trust influencers and they buy things as a result of reading about it somewhere else. And when you're starting out and you're a new brand and you're not yet an influencer, you can get, partner with other people that are already influencers in the industries and guest blog on their blogs and write about your stuff on their blogs, and get their audiences to come and buy from you. Because a good percentage of people who buy things online, they buy as a result of having read about it in a blog. So they read something, they were just reading a blog, and then they read about, oh, really? Yeah, this is the new orange wig is the in thing, they're in demand, And they read about it in the blog, and they're like, wow, I want that. And then the blog recommends, oh, yeah, you can get it from lacewigs.co.za. And then they go click on it, and then they buy. A good percentage of people buy that way. So that's if that alone was the only reason to have a blog, then definitely do it. But when you're starting out, you can work with influencers, ask them if you can write on their blogs, your own blog, it's called guest blogging, and write your stuff on their blog so that when their audiences read, because they already have established audiences, then they read your article and they're like, oh, that's nice. They click on the link that you would have left there, and then it leads them to your website. It also drives traffic to your website, but it also starts to increase your own audience. Those people might keep coming back to your website. Now they know your website. It's in their, psyche, and then they start reading your stuff as well when they come to your website, and you start building your own audience that way. It will take months, sometimes even years, but if you blog regularly, consistently, I guarantee you will start building your own audience. 6 months of blogging, you're going to start having thousands of people reading your blog if you do it consistently. You don't even have to have good content. You just have to be consistent. More than anything, the most important thing with building an audience is consistency. I've seen this hundreds, millions, lots of times, okay? You don't even have to be the best blogger. You just have to be consistent. If you're going to decide, I'm going to blog every week you release a blog. I tell you, you will build an audience that way, okay? And that's all I'm going to say about blogging, and then we're going to continue. So I will say over here, I am done with the blogging. And let's start with the practical work. Let's set up our Google Search Console. So I'm gonna close this, and I'm gonna close that, and then we're going to go to our Google Search Console. Okay. Right, when you go to Google Search Console, it's search.google.com. You have to register your website on Google Search Console. This is how Google knows that you have a website. And so I'm just gonna say start. I already have a couple of websites registered here, and I'm just gonna create a new property. So I'm gonna go up there and go to the bottom there that says add a property, and then you can put your domain here like that. So I'm just gonna go and copy it like it is there, and then I'm gonna put it under URL. Okay, like that. Enter URL and then continue, and then it's gonna verify this, and then it's gonna say oopsie doopsies, you have not verified your domain, which will be the case when you do this for the first time. Okay, and in this case it's giving me options. Okay, HTML file, upload. So you have options. Okay, recommended, download this file and upload it to this to stay verified. Don't remove the file. Okay, I'm not gonna do this because I don't have I'm doing a WordPress website and I can't do that. So why aren't they giving me other options? Other verification methods. Add a meta tag to your site's homepage. All right, so a meta tag, that's easier. So at the head of your website you can add this, and this is easier to do. So I'm going to copy that. All right, and to stay verified you have to keep the meta tag there. Do not remove it. If you remove it, then you will be unverified. So you have to keep the tag there to stay verified. So I'm just going to copy this, and then you need to paste it at the head of your let me see, it should go into the head section before the body section of your website. So let's go back. All right, and I'll show you how to do this. When you go back, so under plugins you add a new plugin, and I'm just going to type in the headers, and it should come up. I think it's called headers and footers, or insert headers and footers. This one, insert headers and footers by WP Beginner, 1 million active installations. That's the one. It's one of the easiest plugins to use for including meta tags in your head, and if you have other scripts or whatever you want to include in the footer part of your website, you just sort of install this plugin and then it allows you to do it, and it's just so easy. Okay, so I've activated it. Okay, and let me just allows you to insert code in the text header and footer of your WordPress blog. Okay, so that's fine. So to get a hold of it, I think you need to go to settings. And under settings, you'll have a new insert headers and footers installed in there, which is from the plugin. And just click there. And then you'll see. So this is where you can add anything you want to add in the header of your website. In the head section, it will be shown there. Anything you want to add in the body, anything you want to add in the footer, and then you just save. So I have that copied in my clipboard. I'm just going to paste it like that. This is the Google site verification for laceweeks.co.za that I'm trying to add to Google Sitekit, and then I'm just going to click save. All right, and let's just refresh it, for control. And once I've done that, I go back to Google and I immediately just click verify, and Google should immediately be able to pick up that header that I've added on the website. Ownership verified, awesome. So I can go to property, and now I have the property. It even picked up the, so this is the correct one. Okay, the first time you come here, you're not going to see anything because Google hasn't even indexed this website. It's a brand new site, and you didn't have a Search Console account, so you don't have anything going on here. But the reason why I brought you here is so that you can submit your sitemap.xml file to Google, so that Google can start indexing your website. So what you need to do is go to your Laceweeks, your website as it is. Okay, just click /sitemap, okay, .xml. I'm just searching for the sitemap. There it is. Okay, sitemap index. Just copy that. All right. This is created automatically by Yoast SEO plugin, so you don't have to create this. And then you come back to the Google Search Console and you go under sitemaps, and then you're just going to paste it there. Okay, so it just wants the end part of the URL. That's fine. So let's just copy that part. And you come up in there and you paste it in there and you click submit. Okay, so you've just submitted your sitemap to Google and got it, and Google says success. They're able to find your sitemap. So within the next 24 hours, your website is going to be indexed by Google. So there's two ways to check. There's a way to check if your website is indexed by Google. You go to a normal Google search like this. You can either type it there or you can type it there, and you type site, all right, semicolon, and you enter your website. Let me just go find the placeweeks.co.za. Okay. Without the HTTPS, actually you can do the HTTPS. Let's see. So you say site that. So what this does is that it looks specifically for a website. Okay, so it's not searching for anything else. You're limiting your search to a website only. So you'll see when you say site laceweeks.co.za, your website doesn't come up. Okay. The first one that comes up is Hair City, Wix.co.za, Style Diva, Volure, Wig Beauty. Okay, so currently your website is not indexed because I specifically put in the URL of the website. If your website is indexed and you put in your URL specifically and site in front of it, your website should be the first one that comes up, even if it's not ranking, because you are specifically searching for that website. So the fact that yours doesn't come up just means it's not indexed. So now that we've submitted our sitemap, we're gonna give it 24 hours and then come back and do the search. Your website should be top of this list. Obviously, nobody is searching specifically for site, but when your website is indexed, yours should come up, right? So I've done that. This is done. And if you go back to our list of things to do, we have done that. Google Search Console, and then we're going to do Google Analytics. Google Analytics is just as easy as Search Console. Analytics. We're going to go there, analytics.google.com. You just sign in, and then you're going to create your own Google Analytics account. And then, so at the bottom there, click admin, and then go to create a new account, and then call it I don't know, lace wigs, right? The data sharing options, Google product services, technical support, account specialists. Yeah, that's all right. When they call you for help, yes, the property name. Lace wigs. And we are in South Africa. All right, GMT +2, and our currency is ZAR. South African rand. There you go. Then you click next. My business is small. What do you want to do? We want to measure customer engagement with my site. I want to optimize advertising, no. Increase conversions, yes. Analyze my online sales. And then create. Okay, so analytics terms of agreement. Make sure you change this for your country as well, because this is now a binding agreement that people don't read terms and conditions, but at least make sure you are agreeing to the correct terms and conditions. But obviously, do take the time to read this, right? I don't have the time now, but I've done this many times. Okay, additional terms applicable to data shared with Google. I'm going to click yes, I accept. And then it's going to create a new sort of property for me. So once I've done that, then I'm going to say I want to set up data stream for this property. It's not an app, it's a web, right? And then I need to enter the website URL there. So let's just copy it again here. To analytics and we'll paste it there. Lace wigs. So enhance measurements, page views, scrolls, outbound clicks, that's all right. And then create stream. Okay. So once you've done that, you will be given a tag similar to the tag that similar to the meta URL tag that you were given to verify your site ownership. You will get a tag, a global site tag like a G tag, and you have two options. You can either use the G tag or you can use the Google Tag Manager. For today, we're going to use just the G tag. Perhaps next week we'll go into the Google Tag Manager, because the moment you start including, smart, I'm going to get that into the marketing part when we are doing the Google advertising and a smart shopping campaigns or standard shopping campaigns, and then you need to include a tag there as well. Then you got a tag for analytics, you got a tag for everything. Then it's easier to just have a tag manager and then manage all your tags from the Google Tag Manager. But today, because we're just doing analytics, okay, and I want to show you also the escalation of it. So for today, we are just gonna copy this, and that's enough. We're not gonna do Google Tag Manager. So copy that, and then go back to, you would still have the headers and footers in there, and we're gonna include the script in the header part of the website. And let's just make sure that that is what the instructions say. Copy and paste this in the head section of every web page that you want to measure. So we're gonna put it in here. We're gonna put it in there in the header, and this will be on the head of every page, and then we're gonna save it. And then what's included in the Google tag is obviously the script that goes to a tag manager, and it has your tag ID, all right? And what happens is every time somebody visits your website and whatever the actions they're doing on the website, the script is recording that information, and then it's sending that information to this HTTPS address with your tag ID. So then when Google gets this information with your tag ID, it's able to associate it with your account, and then that data is going to be shown every time you visit the Google Analytics dashboard. You're going to be able to see, oh, I got 2 visitors today, I got 10 visitors today, 100 or whatever from the Google Analytics dashboard. So once you've done that, we're just going to, that's done, all right? And then now the last thing we were supposed to do for today, so I'm going to click, we've done the analytics, is to do the Google Sitekit. And I left it for the end because I wanted to do all of this first, because when you do the Google Sitekit, actually you can connect it to your analytics account, and then you'll be able to see your analytics from your Google page. So you don't have to log into analytics manually every time to check what's happening, because typically you'd have to come here, remember to come here and see what's happening here. But when you've connected your Google Sitekit, you'll see it directly from your online store as a plugin. So for that, we will go to our plugins again and add a new plugin, and we're going to look for Google Sitekit. And so under keyword there, just say Google. And it's the first one that comes up. Sitekit by Google, install it. It has 700,000 active installation, and it's a pretty new in terms of plugins. So for 700 installations in the short space of time that they've been running this, it's not a short space, but I mean it's not an old plugin. So a lot of people are installing it typically. That's what I want to sort of allude to. And I actually prefer this to Monster Insights and a lot of these other plugins that come automatically with your WordPress website installation, because Google Sitekit is free. You don't pay. You're not gonna have like premium memberships, like they give you half information, and then to get the other half, they're gonna tell you, to get the rest of the data, please, you need to subscribe and pay us like what, 1,000 rands a month. No, I hate those kind of plugins. And I know they've got to make money because somebody spent their time developing this plugin and they have to monetize it, and they can't just give it away for free. And I'm not anti-paying for plugins, but when you're an entrepreneur and you're starting out and you're trying to test ideas, you're also trying to make a living, and then you got like 100 plugins, and each and every one of them is going to cost you 200-300 rands a month. I mean, how are you making money if half of your money is going to be spent on paying for plugins? So every time I come across a plugin that's free, that is the one I want, okay? And Google Sitekit is the best because Google is Google. And they don't charge you for this. Obviously, Google makes their money in other ways. They make their money in advertising. So they are providing you this analytical information, and they know that obviously you're going to be using it to sort of streamline and figure out how to get and pay for their Google adverts. Are they working? Are they not working? Because usually I use the analytics hand in hand with paying for my adverts to figure out, are the adverts working? Am I getting more traffic? Is what I'm getting, what I should be getting? So, okay, so that's done. It's activated. You can do that. I don't mind sending Google information. It's up to you. And then you're gonna start, going through the setup of this plugin. I'm gonna sign in with Google, and I'll use that because I think that's where I've added my analytics accounts under this email address under my Gmail. I'm going to say allow. Go to my dashboard. So the Search Console gets automatically added provided you have a Search Console account. Okay, so we already remember this is the Search Console. Okay, so we have a Search Console account, it got automatically connected. All right, the Google Analytics is not automatically connected, so let's just connect it now. So Analytics connected. Page speed insights. I'm gonna leave that out for now, but you can connect it if you want. That was not included in our list of things to do. So I would say Google Sitekit is done. Look at our to-do list. We have done everything. And we were supposed to then do the social media. And that's what we're going to continue with now because this was due for today. Set up Facebook, Instagram, and set up Twitter. This is really easy to do. So I'm just going to do that, in the next couple of, like 10 minutes or so. And then set up a profile picture. Let's do that. We do have a profile picture. In fact, we can just use that. Apply and next. Skip for now. And boom, you've got a Twitter account. Okay. So there's a couple of things I wanted to show you why I actually created this account, because I wanted to create a brand new account with absolutely 0 followers. If you look at my Twitter account, and you look at the profile, you will see I am following 0 people and I have 0 followers. By the end of next week, I'm going to have a couple of followers, and I'm going to give you a trick for getting followers, and I'm going to give it to you for free on this channel, and you're never going to get it anywhere else but on this channel. This trick works every time. I've used it so many times. It is borderline in the gray area, okay, but it is not illegal to do, and I'm going to tell it to you now, okay? Later on, I will put in a, actually, let me see if I can't put this in now, because people they don't follow accounts which are not complete. Okay, I'll fix this later, but it's something. Okay, add your bio. We sell high quality lace wigs online. Visit our store. All right. Location, we are in South Africa. Website, let's just get the website here. Proper URL, I don't want to get it wrong. So actually I'd rather copy it from there and paste it there. Right, and then save. Okay, so I've got a complete profile, because people don't like to follow you if you don't have a complete profile. So that's good. So the trick I want to show you is this. It's called superpowers for Twitter. So what you need to do is you go to any blank Google place and just search for superpowers. Superpowers Twitter. Okay, like that. And then you're going to come across a Chrome extension that is called Superpowers for Twitter. And then you just click on that. And this Chrome extension, I've already installed it. And it should have that little birdie there, Superpowers for Twitter, and look like this. Okay, you can read more on it. But you just add it to your Chrome. I've already added it to my Chrome. And it's going to be that little bird like that sits at the top of your Chrome browser when you have it installed. Now, when you get to your Twitter account, you will see that little bird will now light up. If you're away from Twitter, it's like grayed out. But when you're on Twitter, it's going to light up and be blue. All right. So that little bird, if you click on it, you're going to go to the settings for superpowers for Twitter. Okay, I'm just going to click on it. And you will see it has like must follow for Twitter, must like, must tweet, must retweet, and all sorts of other nice things. Okay, so I'm going to close this, and you can go there and install it, and then you go through the whatevers. But once you have it installed, okay, when you go to your profile, you want to grow your Twitter account, and we're gonna grow this Twitter account from 0 followers. You're gonna, because you're selling lace wigs, right? Go and explore and look for people that are selling lace wigs. Like look for lace wigs as a topic on Twitter. Okay, I'm the first one that comes up, but you got lace wig Virginia. How about lace wigs South Africa? Because I don't want to find people that are selling lace wigs in okay, there isn't anybody that is just lace wigs in South Africa, but it doesn't matter. Eventually you will find them, okay? And these are people that do lace wigs, all types of girls talk ZA. So this person clearly is in South Africa. So I'm just going to click on their profile, and then I'm going to follow them, right? Because I want to start to associate my Twitter with people that are in my niche. And when you create your Twitter account for the first time, Twitter will recommend people for you to follow. But don't follow the people that are recommended for you by Twitter, because those are usually your Kim Kardashians and they have nothing to do with your business, okay? Use your own Twitter strategy to create a following and follow the people within your niche that are doing what you're doing. So search for people that are doing lace wigs, for example, like this one. You follow them, right? And then you go to people that are following them, okay? And then you follow. You follow. I'm not going to do this now. It's dangerous because my account is still new, okay? So the first day, maybe you can follow 10 people, okay? I'm not going to follow guys. I'm going to look for women, follow, all right? Follow. So there is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's a couple of them, 6, 7. I'm just counting 1, 2, 3, okay? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, I'm going to follow only 10. That's it. So I'm going to follow 10 people because I'm a new account. And when after a couple of days, you can follow more people. If you follow too many people when you're brand new like this, they're going to block you because they're going to think you're just a spam or you're a bot. So I'll follow 10 people. I'm going to leave it there. But you see at the top here, I have this thing that says follow all. Okay, you only get this when you have installed the superpower for Twitter. What this follow all does for you is that when you click it, it will automatically follow people on your behalf. All right, but you need to set it accordingly. So click on that button there and go to options, okay, and click on the options. I'm going to gray out my key there, but what it does is that it follows people must follow on your behalf. So you can decide you want to follow people every 5 to 11 seconds. You can adjust this and say every 2 to 3 seconds. It's up to you. But the longer space you leave between follows, the more likely you are not to be blocked by Twitter. Okay, I've limited my follow to 100. Okay, skip people that followed before, profile image, they should have profile image, skip protected profiles, skip people that are already following you, skip verified accounts, a bio is required, that person must have a minimum 100 followers. I do this because I want to make sure they are active on Twitter. They must be following minimum 20 people, you know, all of these things, whatever, you know, and you set it up here on the settings, right? You set it up here on the settings. And once you've set it up, then you'll have this follow all button, and then you just click on it. I'm going to just show it quickly. You click on it, and then it starts following people for you. It's followed one person. It will follow until it reaches that 100. But I'm going to stop it now because I don't want it to cancel me. What that does, immediately, if I go to my notification, check that. I already got somebody that followed me back. So this is one of the fastest way to grow your Twitter accounts. I've done this many times, and 10, 20, up to 30% people will follow you back. So that means if you follow 100 people, 30 people will follow you back. If you follow 1,000 people, 300 people will follow you back. Obviously, once you reach 5,000, the limit, you can just go back and unfollow. The same plugin allows you to unfollow, and you can unfollow everyone that doesn't follow you back. And then you can go back and redo the whole and repeat the whole process. And when you're starting out from scratch, it's one of the best ways to grow your account really, really fast, because then you get a lot of people sort of like following you, and quickly you can grow your account within a month, you know, and get 1,000 followers, you know, and then from then onwards it will start growing organically. You don't have to do this forever, you know. You get it to 1,000 to maybe 3,000 followers, and then you just start growing organically because now you are big enough. Okay, and so I've already got 2 followers. So do this on Instagram. I'm not going to go through the Instagram process, but it's the same. Create an account, use your Google account to do that, and the same exists. You can go search for superpowers for Instagram. It is a similar plugin. You just click on it. You install it also on your Chrome, and once you've done that, you will be able to go to Instagram and you do the exact same thing. Repeat again, grow your Instagram following. So this way you grow your Twitter following and you grow your Instagram following. So currently we don't even have a single tweet. Okay, so I'm gonna tweet something like hey, get this amazing lace wig online. Okay, and then I'm gonna go to my website, lacewigs.co.za, and I'm gonna look for that wig, the one that I'm wearing in the profile picture. Let me just find it here. It's this one there. I'm just gonna click on it, the color bob that goes for 2.2. So I'm just gonna copy that link and tweet that online from 2,200. Okay, and then put in the link and tweet that. So at least I have a tweet. Okay, tweet sent. If you go to your profile, it will also show the there should be an image there. Let me just double check on this page. Yeah, there should be. Anyway, that's not a problem. So we've done that for Twitter. I'm gonna go to home. You're gonna do the same thing for Instagram. I won't do it in the video, but it's the exact same process. And then on the Facebook side, what you need to do is that you need to go to pages, and then under pages, you need to create a new page. And then we're just gonna create a new page here that is called, lace wigs. I'm not gonna do it online either. You can do it in your own private time. This is not rocket science. And once you've done all of that, we can tick these things as done. We've set up Facebook, we've set up Instagram, we've set up Twitter, and I've given you the trick to grow your social media account, that what I just showed you now, the must follow, not plugin, but like, yeah, it is a Chrome extension, sort of like a plugin. So that's what you use to grow your account really, really quickly when you're starting out, and then that's done. Okay, so we are done with the tasks for that day and for that day. And then the next video is going to be really exciting. We are gonna start doing we're gonna do our Google My Business profile. We're gonna do the Google Merchant account. We're gonna do the Facebook Commerce account, Google Ads, Facebook Ads. So make sure by next week. So we're gonna skip Wednesday. We won't do the Wednesday video because today's video is actually also pretty long. It will cover the whole week, and then next week Make sure you have your Facebook account already set up the way I've shown you, and you've got your Instagram account already set up, and that you've made your Instagram account a business Instagram account, and that you've connected it to your Facebook account. If you're not sure how to do that, there is a video on our channel that shows you how to do that. It's not complicated. I will sort of go through it very quickly as well next week, but if you've already done it, it will be easier for you to follow along, and so that we can continue from there, and because there's a lot to cover to set up Google Merchant and Facebook shopping. Okay, so we'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for watching, and happy online business entrepreneurship.